I think it sparked by surprise, and it took absolutely everyone by surprise, unless we discover 20 years from now that it was some mega plot by someone. But from what we've seen so far, I think it was there were reasons leading to that. I had gone to Egypt in October, for example, and it had been a long time I had been there, and I noticed that Egyptians had changed. They were aggressive, they were angry, and they were voicing it. You could see it in their eyes. And Egyptians have been usually quite peaceful people. And actually, there was always this saying in the Middle East that, Egyptians, they will never uprise against anything. They're just happy. They just go along, like the Nile. They just flow with whatever's going. Another factor was that the whole environment changed. Information is flowing either through satellite channels. We talk about Facebook and Twitter a lot, but let's remember that in countries like those, not everybody has a computer, not everybody knows what internet is. They've heard about it, they don't really use it so much. I'm talking about, the vast majority outside of the urban areas. But the information was there. Someone was telling them something. A lot of immigration, people traveling to Europe, coming back, telling stories about how other people are living, images on TV about what's going on. I think the mixture of all that led to people wanting to vent their anger. The decisive factor, however, in my personal point of view, is the response of the governments. Because none of these protests, when they started, were calling for the overthrow of the government. It was at the beginning about an end to corruption, a better life, improvement of salaries, that kind of demands. It's because the governments answered in such a brutal way, an aggressive way, it's because, streets were turned into battlefields, that the protesters hardened their positions. Because once you see your friend hurt or dead, you're going to go for it. And again, the human being gets sucked into whatever happens at the moment. Yeah, but you cannot change a whole system in a few months. In countries where the power is centralized, where there's an ingrained mentality, and that's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take years for that to happen. Yes, bloggers are being arrested, and it's shameful, to be honest. But, we got rid of a few people at the top, but the system is still there, and that cannot change overnight unless you completely destroy a country. Because I'm Egyptian, but I'm an outsider, I'm not really there, I see a bit of a difference. Not as much as I would like to see. Certainly the government is trying, the military authorities, are trying to muzzle too much dissent. But in the same time, you hear people talking about things they would have never talked about before. But this is a country where a third of the population lives on $1 a day. And at the moment, they're not able to get that $1 a day because of what's happening. The bloggers are in the higher bit. So there needs to be a meeting point between these two sides. Now, obviously, SCAF is from the old regime, is from the old mentality, whether it's culturally, educationally, traditionally, whatever you want to call it. So they're also not able to catch up. So people are frustrated, people are venting their frustration at the moment, but I think somehow it's quite normal. I think we need to have this conversation probably in a year's time. But to think that Egypt was going to change overnight after 60 years basically of the same system, and let's not forget Mubarak was a military man, so it's not that the country fell in the hands of the military, it just continued being in the hands of the military. In the Arab world, at the moment because people don't know what freedom of expression means. We are seeing also a lot of abuse of the term. Eventually things will settle back again, but at the moment people think that freedom of expression is basically going out, not all of them, but some people, those who are making problems basically, is going out and really saying whatever comes at the cuff of your head, even if it's insulting other people. So freedom of expression is a necessity, but it has to be respectful.